All right, folks, welcome back inside the janitor's closet. And the 2023-2024 NFL season has sadly come to a close. It was our first on YouTube. And that's kind of what this video is just going to be about, breaking down the season that was for us, where we were able to capitalize on a couple opportunities, where we are going to be adjusting the system for next year. We like to keep full transparency with the good people supporting this page. So this
Yep.
is just kind of crossing our T's, dotting our I's per se. Welcome inside. My name is Bryce Hunt, joined as always by lead football expert in the janitor's closet, Josh Frey-Sam. Josh, how are you today, sir?
Yeah, Bryce, I'm all right. Well, at the time of recording, we are 6 days without NFL football now. So I'm fiending a little bit. I'm all right. Still going through the withdrawal process, but we'll make it through this. And right now, just kind of clinging to NFL draft stuff at this point now, as I do every single season. I'm sure most of these people watching are doing as well. But no, this is just a kind of fun episode we thought was going to be good. Like you said, full transparency, keep everything out in the open for everybody. And obviously, we got baseball season right around the corner. So for those who are our most loyal followers, please stay tuned because we've got futures episodes and all that stuff coming up, good stuff coming up. But for now, this is still, we're going to do one last day focused on the NFL. And let's just recap the season that was, because it was an interesting one for those, especially those who tailed with us through and through. So
All right, man. And this is going to be a little bit of a quicker video, a lot of numbers thrown at you, folks. If nothing else, if you can't get anything else, it'll be a bookmark for us to see, kind of keep track of how we're doing moving forward. But with that said, Josh, let's maybe start with a quick Super Bowl recap here. We had three plays, hit on two of them. Of course, it seemed like the 49ers had, four or five different chances to win that game. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is inevitable.
yeah.
We weren't able to get the sunglasses on for the recap video. Would have been special, but we'll take a 2-1 at the Super Bowl.
Man. Yeah, that would have been special. Like that San Fran, like you said, so many opportunities, and just you keep the baby goat around for so long, and he's gonna eventually he's gonna bite you. So and that's exactly what happened. So anyway, Super Bowl 2-1 came on top records wise, but we ended up kind of pretty much finishing even. I think it came out to like a minus point 0.2 unit outcome for us on the day. So pretty much drew even on the Super Bowl. So it was some cheap entertainment for us. Obviously hit on our two prop bets, which was awesome, which also, just to maybe a sneak peek to our entire breakdown. I mean, that concluded what was a 7-2 prop season for us, which there was actually a point in time where it kind of wasn't looking great for us on props. And we kind of just hit like a really hot streak late in the season on our props. So we actually ended up finishing really well on our props, of course, minus our ladder challenges. But yeah, Super Bowl was cheap entertainment for us, is really what it came down to. But good game through and through. You just wish San Fran would have been able to get it done for us there, but such is life. And next season we'll see what shakes out.
All right, you alluded to those prop numbers at 7-2. Let's take a look at how the regular season was able to break down for us, kind of specifically on which sides we were taking.
Yeah, so yeah, the full game size. So it's interesting because the full game sides, we went 35, 24, and 2 on the season. So that's 59.3% is what we went. So which is really good. Like, I mean, we did really well on those all year. And then we obviously, our total record on the year, I think it's important to note, 84, 58, and 3 is what we finished, which 59%, which is great, and plus 31.65 units in the green. So which is amazing. And I think that's also important to note, just because for those people, there was a lot of people where after we got off to our hot streak at the beginning of the year, a lot of people jumped on board, and then we went through a little bit of a colder streak, and then a lot of people jumped off board, but they weren't trusting the process. But those people who did trust the process, as we'll get into right away, but those people who did trust the process, they stuck around. We ended up having a really good season. But yeah, it's interesting, the ebbs and flows. And then even like the totals that we have, full game totals this year, 19, 12, and 1. That's over 60%. talked about the props. This year we went 7-2. That's approaching 80%. Teasers we weren't really great on. I mean, we tried doing those Thursday night football teasers, and then they just kind of like they kind of fizzled out for us. Like we got off, I think we were like 2-0, right? Or something like that for the first two Thursday night footballs, and then we just like lost four in a row or something. Like we kept starting our weeks with a loss on the with the teaser, which was just like not fun whatsoever. Just kind of putting us back, setting us back, no chance at the glasses. And then maybe just to wrap up these with the first half bets, because those who follow us, and Bryce, you've learned over the past few seasons, as we've gotten talking about betting more and more and more. I like my first half bets, and those first half bets, and we like the first half bets, I should say. First half size, we went 3-4 on, so not great. Just kind of split even pretty much, and then on the totals though, we kind of made up for it, and we went 7-4 this year, over 60% on the first half total. So really, it was the ebbs and flows of the season are interesting, but in the end, we really did come out on top on just about every single any metric that you can look at in this season. We came out on top, so is always nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're transitioning to next. You mentioned that 9-0-1 start to kind of get this channel off the ground, which was pretty fortunate timing for
That was
us, kind
special, yeah,
of with our first stint on YouTube. But
yeah,
after that, it kind of turned into like your typical basketball game where it's a game of runs, and
yeah,
any professional gambler, anyone in the business will tell you that it's a long season. You're not going to be profitable all year. You're going to have runs. You're going to have the ebbs and flows, as you mentioned, the highs and lows. And that's,
yeah,
that's exactly what we did. If you would have told us at the start of the year, we'd be right around 60%. We
yeah.
would have been happy with it. But why don't you just take us through kind of which parts of the year we were most profitable in, which parts of the year kind of took us a step back?
Yeah, so like the first start, like as I mentioned earlier, like for the start of the season was incredible. If you jumped on after probably a lot of people, we were struggling to get even 100 views on videos at the start of the year, and then we go 9-0-1 through the first 2 weeks, and obviously our views, everybody caught wind of that, and so now we started jumping up. We gained a little bit of popularity, which was awesome. Then we obviously took the step back. So weeks 3 to 8 was a little bit of a it was a grind for us, right? We went 12-18-1 between weeks 3 to 8, but I mean, realistically, although we were obviously in the red during that stretch, it's like we were still, I mean, that's not that bad. That's not a tailspin by any means. It's a tailspin by I guess our standards, but for most people, 12-18-1, that's not terrible. Once again, it's kind of just cheap entertainment. And then weeks 9 to 11, as we get to the middle portion of the season here, we just kind of broke even. We went 9-9 throughout the middle portion of the season. But then that's when we really started to get hot. Weeks 12 to 15, 21-9, right? We started heating up as teams started making their playoff push. So did we. At week 16, 16 and 17, we were in the middle again, 8-9-1. But then once again, weeks 18 all the way through the rest of the season into the playoffs, we went 18-9 to finish the season. So listen, we got hot at the start of the season. We got hot as the playoff push started, and then we got hot throughout the playoffs, which was really nice. You don't hate to see that. And those were the ones really you look at our records, our worst stretch was from weeks 3 to 8 when we went 12-18-1. And really, man, if you had told us that was going to be our worst stretch of the season, I think both of us would have took that. And I think anybody who was tailing us probably would have taken that as well. If they said that's about as bad as it's going to get for us, I think that was not too bad. So all in all, pretty good season for us. And it's like also important to like, I mean, like the ebbs and the flows, right? It's like again, just goes back to like the trust the process, right?
Yeah, like if people use this example all the time, but if you would have put $100 on every single bet that we placed this year, you'd be up around $3,100, which you can't go broke making a profit, all of that stuff. And it
Yeah,
was really a hot start and a really hot end to the season that kind of brought us to that point. So it just shows you don't have to hit all throughout the season. You can go through some pretty big slumps and still find your way back. We didn't really change up too much in the philosophy going into the bets. Sometimes like football happens, it's any given Sunday.
yeah,
Teams can come out of the woodwork and beat anyone on any given Sunday. So it's just kind of not completely questioning the process and changing up what you're doing at that point.
right.
Um, So yeah, our next topic, Josh, we're going to talk about, this is a fun one. Our most profitable teams and our most costly team. Obviously, we weren't didn't bet on every team this year,
No.
but the ones that we did, you kind of broke down the numbers on that.
Yeah, so this is just against the spread or a team total, or if we include them in a teaser. This was not if we included them in a total bet. So there was a lot. So like, you talk about totals, we probably bet on every single team this season, but this is only if we actually bet them against the spread. And our most profitable team, shout out you, Bryce, and your Baltimore Ravens. We go with those boys, we with the flock, we go 6-1 this season. That was special. And Ravens were pretty good against the spread this season. They weren't like outstanding and they weren't the best team against the spread this season, but that just kind of goes to show. I mean, we picked our spots with the Baltimore Ravens and we were successful in picking our spots with them against the spread. On the flip side, the Buffalo Bills, they were bad to everybody this season, man. They were one of the worst teams against the spread, and that we were no exception. 3-6 for us this year. They definitely costed us the most. This was really fun to kind of break down because you kind of see which teams, as we like to refer to, just should have been on the blacklist for our betting purposes. And you look at some teams like the Buffalo Bills, or you look at even the Dallas Cowboys, we were 1-3 with. The Niners, we were 2-3. The darlings of the janitor's closet 2023, 2024 were the Seattle Seahawks by far and away. 4-1 we went with them, so a total of 9 bets against the spread for the Seattle Seahawks. And as I told you before we hopped on here, it's like that might have been a little bit of my own blinders. Every single year I think any handicapper, they maybe have they have to fight their preconceived notions. They got to fight their biases and stuff like that. And for me, I was really high on the Seattle Seahawks, and you and I were both really high on the Seattle Seahawks coming into this season. As a result, we kind of bet on them a lot. We took a lot of chances on them, bet on them half the time this season, half the episodes that we made. So in the regular season, so it's kind of that's kind of an interesting one to look at. But Baltimore definitely the most profitable for us. So hopefully we'll see if the flock can stay hot for us as we move into next season. But that was a really fun exercise breaking down team by team.
Okay, so we mentioned this was our first year. I mean, we've been betting on football for a handful of years now, but first time publishing the picks on YouTube, kind of
Hmm.
leaving it all out there, keeping full documentation, putting kind of our name attached with every play we made this year. Um, but with anything, you have to improve and you have to change things as you move forward. So, Josh, what kind of changes can we expect for the football side of the janitor's closet going forward?
Yeah, so what we identified was one big thing, right? Was we identified one big change that we need to make going into next year, and there could be others, but our record what is really good this season, right? I mean, we're hitting in the regular season, we're hitting at a 58% 58% clip. In the total season, we're hitting at almost a 60% clip this season, which again, you tell anybody that these handicappers, these boys are going to hit at 60%. I think a lot of people are jumping on board. That's the problem is, although we were 31 units in the green this year, we probably could have been a lot more in the green this year. And the reason why we weren't is because we followed what was just a flat bet throughout the entire season. Throughout the weeks, the first few handful of weeks, we were following 1 unit bets. We were just keeping it small. Then we jumped up to 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit, and then as we got into the playoffs is when we started making adjustments and we started doing different unit bets for each bet. And what that's done is now it's kind of given us almost like a star rating for each bet, because it gives us like yeah, if we're placing 5 units on a bet, we absolutely love that bet and we're gonna, you know what I mean, that's kind of like the max play, if you would. Whereas something a little bit smaller is something that we're still confident in, obviously, but we're not throwing the whole bankroll on it for obvious reasons. So that's going to be one change that we make next season is we're going to keep the units bets different for each bet. And then we're hopefully going to see a little bit more of a profit because we did already in the playoffs. Our profit count went up. We were already on pace, and even in week 18, we saw our profits going up once we changed that. So that's a little bit of ignorance on our part throughout most of the season here, but it ended up working out well for us. But next season, if we do this and we hit it the same clip, if not better, we're going to be making a lot more money next season. So people who are tailing us next season can definitely look forward to a little bit of adjustment from us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like football, how it attaches itself. You can afford to take some shots downfield
Right.
when you like something. I think maybe one of the things that alluded to that was the fact that every show was our best bets show.
Yeah.
Um, so we were kind of grouping every play together when obviously they're still your best bets, but some you like a lot more. You pick
Yeah.
spots, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean that like before we close this thing down, that's kind of like what's special about this channel to me is that we're winning all these bets and losing all these bets with the good people that are tuning in every week.
Yes, sir.
We aren't professional gamblers, like we're not getting paid to
We
put
we
these picks out. We're just
we set that from the outright. We said that from the get go, right? We're not professionals. We don't line shop, right?
That's right. And like we've seen and we've tailed other guys that once they see a little bit of success, they start bringing out that subscription option and
That's right.
start putting out, we're only going to give 3 plays here, but you could pay for our best plays. We have no plans to do that moving forward anytime soon. We want to keep this thing and grow this community together with the people that have supported us from the jump. And that's kind of where we're gonna be at for baseball season coming up and football season next year. And as I just mentioned, with baseball season coming up, that will be our next video on this channel. Will be the baseball futures episode. I got about six or so futures bets kind of placed, ready to go. Obviously, this is a really weird off season with all the Scott Boras clients still, for a majority of them, unsigned. Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger, Matt Chapman. That crowd obviously
Yeah.
is going to, can add, 3-4 wins onto a team themselves. So when it comes to, teams win totals over under, I obviously want to see a few things before we lock some plays in. But as far as player props go, we have a pretty nice slate already cooked up based on the lines that are currently available. So maybe we'll split it up: one player prop video, one team bet video. We're undecided. There's still about a month to go here before baseball season gets underway. Spring training starts in a week. But yeah, I mean, like if the folks watching this, if you've made it to this point, just watching us ramble on about what the season was, and you want to see any changes on the channel, have any suggestions for us,
Yeah.
leave a comment down below. We really appreciate the support all year. You guys have been great. And yeah, like we mentioned, we're not charging anything for this. We want to keep this, a tight knit community that wins and loses together. But if you do want to support us, the best way to do that is by hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, leaving comments, tell your friends to tune in, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We appreciate the faithful, Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do, man. Looking forward to baseball season returning. You're going to be doing the majority of the talking going forward, so looking forward to that. I'll just sit back and host and tail the bets, man. Looking forward to making some more money.
Yes, sir. All right, man. I think that's about good for this video. Is there anything
Yes,
else you want
sir.
to add on to that?
Nah, man. I appreciate everybody's support, and yeah, we'll see you guys in baseball season, and sooner or later, man. Or, well, not sooner or later. We're gonna be getting the football season once again, right away. That baseball season goes by quick sometimes, so we'll see what it is. But yeah, man, look forward to baseball.
All right, man. Let's take it to the dime, and then we'll see you folks back here relatively soon with those futures videos. Best of luck. Let's get it. Thanks for tuning in all season. Happy betting, bet responsibly, and we'll see you next time.